How is it going, guys? Welcome to the fifth and last video in the data cleaning series. Now today we're going to go ahead and clean the rest of the important columns in this data set. So we're going to go over how to clean the fatal column, time, and then species. So let's get to it right away. So this fatal column, let's just look at it real quick. So I can see that there is a number value in there which is not supposed to be there. Let's see what that looks like. It's always important to check your data. Okay, so we can just rename that. We can just replace that with null and then replace the nulls, or we can just get rid of it entirely. So but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to get rid of it and I'm not going to add it. Then I can go ahead and replace the nulls. So now that that's done, we head over to the time column, and this column is very tricky. So whenever you're working with time or dates in Power BI or Power Query, the time is the most tricky data set to work with. Okay, we can see that the time column has some wrong data. So it has this time, then it has morning. Actually, let's look at the filter and see what we're dealing with. Okay, we have the number and then we have this H in between. Okay, and then I'm sure we have some other stuff we don't need, all these. So basically we're just going to go ahead and try to replace the H and just try to, we have a J here. So this is why it's good for you to go through your data thoroughly, so you know the issue with your data and how to clean it accordingly. Okay, so right now I'm just going to go ahead and try to replace all these H and let's see how that goes. Okay, so let's just replace values. So actually I'm just going to change this to text first, then I can go ahead and replace values, and the first value we want to replace is the H. So, and then we're going to replace that with this column. Okay, so we're going to click OK, and then that gets rid of the H, and also don't forget the J we had there. So we're going to do the same. We're going to look for J and we're going to replace that with the column. Hit OK. Now basically we have our time, and this is one of the simplest and fastest ways to do this. Okay, so there are other ways which would involve you to go and use the M code, but I will not be showing that in this video. Okay, so from here we can do two things. We can either go and choose to parse time from this column, or we can just change the whole column to time and then we can remove the errors. Okay, so let's just use the parse time, and we have our time. Now what we can do is we can go ahead to replace errors, and we can replace errors with null. Now for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be replacing the errors with null. You can choose to remove the errors depending on your analysis. Okay, so I'm just going to click OK, and that's that. Now we can move over to the next column, which says species. And if you've been following the other videos, you'll be familiar with the conditional column and how it can help us to extract the shark species from this column now. So my personal favorite way is to go about using the M code, and that is what we're going to do in this video. So once again, we'll go to our home tab and we're going to locate the advanced editor. Once we do that, we're going to see all the code that is responsible for all the data cleaning we've been doing. And I'm just going to carefully paste the code that will extract the shark species into another column. Okay, and so what this code is basically doing is it's going to check the species column. So if it finds any of these shark species listed here, it's going to extract the corresponding shark species into another column. Okay, so I'm just going to click done and let's see what happens. So if we check the last column here, we can see that we have the sharks extracted for us, and Any shark that's not there, it's going to just give us an error. So if it checks that column, if it checks the column and there's no corresponding shark species, this have nulls, it's going to output nulls. Okay, so we can come here and as well we can replace errors and we can say other. So we click OK and then we get rid of that. Now the remaining columns are not as important. So we have the investigator source, we can just get rid of that. The PDF, the href formula, these are the website data, and I don't think we need these for our analysis or anything. Now these are the case numbers, and I showed us how to clean this in the very first video, so you can still practice upon that. You can do this if you want, following the first video. And the next column we have here is original order. This column looks fine. Okay, so we can just go ahead and select the columns that we need. We can do that two ways, but my personal favorite is going to home tab and then selecting choose columns. Now choose columns, and it's going to show all these, and I'm going to select the columns that I need. So from here you can just select all the columns you need, or leave this selected and deselect columns you don't need. Okay, so all other columns are gone apart from the columns that are important for the analysis. I hope we learned a thing or two from this data cleaning series. Power Query is a really powerful tool, and I would advise us to go and look for more data sets to practice our data cleaning skills. Okay, till next time.